What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to talk about the Spyderco Endela. This is a 3.41-inch blade designed by Sal Glesser, and this particular one is in K390 steel. That is a super steel that is not stainless, so this will develop a patina and corrode as well, so take care accordingly of this particular knife. This one gets its name slash design slash ethos as a mix of, or in between, the Endura, which is the 3.75-inch blade, and then the Delica, which is like 3 and change, maybe sub 3.2, maybe 3.1-ish blade. So you can kind of see that. In fact, let me go ahead and just pull out that Delica so we can see the inspiration slash really identicalness of it, or similarity between the two. This particular one is in the S90V. Also, a Spyderco knife that I really thought of in terms of comparing was the Manix 2 in terms of the blade length, and the shape's pretty close. So that for me was really kind of a good comparison. In terms of kind of like everyday carry standards, the Benchmade Bug Out is very similar, just a little bit shorter blade length. And this of course is, with this particular one, is the lime green Flytanium scales. In terms of probably the one that I really thought about, though, like for like, because that Manix has that ball bearing lock, it was the Spyderco Stretch. So again, very similar in terms of blade length and everything. You're just going to notice the big difference here is going to be that finger choil up front versus the one that you're not going to get here in the Endela. So, and that Stretch will actually come back into the discussion a little bit later. This particular one has a 3.41-inch blade, and it's, again, Boehler K390 steel, which is one of the super steels for edge retention. It's not, particularly a massive, great fidget factor knife, but you can go ahead and handle it one hand just fine. It weighs in at 3.1 ounces, so, very nicely below that 1 ounce per inch of blade length. That's really good. This particular one costs $131 right now. I think I got it last year's prices for a little bit less, but it's pretty similar. And I think that's actually a pretty good value for this. I was intending to actually do the Delica review, and I handled that one for a couple weeks, and then I just put this in my pocket for a couple days and broke down a whole bunch of boxes, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the EDC champ against the Delica, because it slices almost as well. This is a particular, in fact, let me go ahead and pull out that Manix blade, as you'll see that another very well-known slicer, and these two are very similar. I didn't actually, measure them, but they're both great slicers. So as far as that goes, this particular one has the famous Spidey hole, and then a back lock with a buoy dent for, redeploying that thing back into the blade. In terms of the pros on this one, I think for me it really does meet that sweet spot of 3.25 inches to 3.5 inch blade, so it makes it legal in most areas. Of course, check your local laws. It has a full grind that slices fantastically, I should say. Again, there's that satin, though. I wish they would learn to stonewash a little bit over at Spyderco. They did on the what was that really big knife? It'll come to me in just a sec. Oh, the Shaman. It is ambidextrous, so your pocket clip actually goes, here's your right side tip up, and there's your left side. So that goes over nicely. Nobody's going to be doing tip down, are they? Not wah. This particular one also has nice skeletonized liners in there, so it keeps it light, but really keeps that rigidity and firmness, which I really like that. And it's very pocket friendly. This is definitely much smaller, and when I bring that Stretch back in, you'll notice the Stretch almost entirely covers it, just because of that really taller blade there. But and just in every facet, so it's definitely more pocket friendly than some of its brethren that would be competing for it in the Spyderco lineup. In terms of the cons, I will say they actually shipped this. I'm going to actually call it with the wrong one. It obviously was designed with the black pocket clip, but on my Delica, it had the satin clip, or the shiny polished clip here, and so I thought I'd rather actually make both of them look a little bit better. So this particular clip came on here. It is the same spoon clip, same 4-factor and everything. But I went ahead and swapped those, and I think you might agree that this looks a little bit better. And in fact, the Delica, I think, looks a little bit better with that blackened out, those blackened out scales as well. The nested liners, when I was actually because I wanted to test this in a little bit more, since It is going to be a little bit thicker and more capable than the Delica in terms of some tougher, a little bit tougher cuts. And so as I was doing some sharp cuts in cardboard, spinning around like this, I did actually hear the liners pop out a couple times from the scales a little bit, but they popped right back in, and it wasn't anything to be a concern about. But I think a little bit on the negative side, that might have something to do with the Seki City, you know, tolerances maybe not being as good as the Taichung Taiwan. But the Spidey hole is very nice and actually does not cut into your hands there. So I actually did appreciate that. I forgot to include that in the pros. Overall, I think this really does achieve the balance that it's looking for. For me, I really enjoyed it. And like I said, I hadn't even held it for a whole long time and just wanted to kind of cover this. And I hadn't used K390 steel. It is definitely one of those that really is great for toothy, to sharp toothy, or to sharpen to a not a super, you know, super polished edge. And this thing just slices and slices and slices. I'll be interested to see how long it can actually retain that edge, because it is supposed to be a great super steel. You know, so as far as that goes, yeah, I think it is a great balance between the two, the Endura and the Delica. And if you're looking for a great EDC knife from Spyderco at a reasonable price, $130 with a super steel, I think this is almost a can't beat one. And yeah, definitely wholly recommend this particular knife. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, go ahead and like and subscribe, and have a great day. Take care now.